Dear colleagues, I'm glad to have another cup of tea with you. In today's lesson, I want to show how to integrate all four language skills in my lesson. While watching my demo lesson, please pay attention to the types of tasks and which skills do they focus on. I will use materials from the course book for the 6th grade. If you wish, you may turn in your book to Unit 13D, pages 229 and 231. After the lesson, we will meet again and discuss it with another cup of tea. Hello students, how are you today? As for me, I feel myself a bit unwell, but not because I'm sick. I've just been in an uncomfortable situation. I was on the bus standing next to a girl who suddenly fainted. It was so hot in there, so I think that was the reason for it. As it was unexpected and happened so quickly, no one on the bus caught her, and I guess the girl hit her head. Somebody tried to bring her up into consciousness by splashing the water to her face, but she didn't wake up. How do you think? What we did next? Yes, you're right, we called the ambulance. The thing is that no one is safe from this kind of situations, and it's good when there are people around you who can give you the first help. So today we will talk about the accidents everybody can have and their possible consequences. And of course, about the ways you can help people who get into these accidents. First, we'll watch a video. There are two characters in it, Aid and Bob. So now watch the video and answer the following questions. Why is Bob the unluckiest boy in the world? How many accidents did he have? How did Aid help Bob in each accident?
This is Aid.
Hello.
He's going to show us how to perform first aid. And this is Bob. Bob is the unluckiest guy in the world. You will see why. Aid and Bob decided to go on a camping trip by taking the bus. Head injury. You should apply a cold compress, for example, an ice pack or frozen vegetables to reduce the swelling and pain.
But?
Nosebleed. Pinch the soft part of the nose, just below the bony ridge. Make sure they lean forward and breathe through the mouth to prevent blood from entering the windpipe. Heat stroke. The person's skin may become hot or red, and they may experience a rise in body temperature. Apply a cool wet cloth or towel to cool the skin, and drink cool water slowly.
So can you tell me why the first character's name's Aid? Right, because he helps his friend. He performs the first aid. And what about Bob? Why is he the unluckiest boy in the world? Probably because he gets into trouble a lot. By the way, how many accidents did he have? Correct, 3. What namely happened to him? Well, first he had a head injury, then his nose split, and because of the terribly hot weather, he had a heat stroke. Do you know what it means? You get a heat stroke when it's extremely hot and your body temperature gets very high. So, can you tell me why the first character's name is Aid? Now, can you look at these questions and discuss them together with your partner? When answering the first question, also talk about Aid, the character in the video, and his actions. How did he help Bob? Let's read a text about the first aid and check your ideas. I guess now you didn't have wrong ideas, and that now you know what first aid is and when and who can give it. Also, you learned the steps of performing the first aid, which can be very helpful in the future. Now, boys and girls, can you look at the list of accidents in the box and match them with the pictures? When you finish, compare your answers with your classmate. Alright, then let's check the answers all together. The first picture: walk or bump into something. 2. Sleep. 3. Cut yourself. 4. Touch hot pan. 5. Twist an ankle. 6. Fall over. 7. Drop a glass. It's time to learn about the consequences of the above-mentioned accidents. Let's read the situations in column A and match them with the consequences in column B. When you're done, compare your ideas together with your friend. Let's check together. If you cut yourself with a knife, you'll probably bleed. 2. If you twist an ankle, you can't walk on it easily. 3. If you slip on some ice, you might hurt yourself badly. 4. If you bump into something, you'll probably get a bruise. 5. If you touch hot pan, you'll probably burn yourself. If you fall over on the street, you'll probably hurt yourself slightly. 7. If you drop a glass on the floor, you might cut yourself. Well done, good job. I'd like to know why you should be careful in the following accidents. Can you discuss statements in pairs and talk about the possibilities? For example, if you walk on a wet floor, you might fall down and get a bruise. Or you could hurt yourself badly or even break your leg. So, work with your friend and discuss these statements. Number 1, if you walk on a wet floor. Number 2, if you're using an iron. 3, if you're cutting the paper with sharp scissors. 4, if your room is messy and there are toys everywhere on the floor. 5, if you're skating. 6, if you walk in the dark room. Please discuss the accidents. So, what is the first aid in the situations mentioned in the second exercise? Which answers do you think are correct? Sometimes more than one answer is possible. Read the statements and choose the best options. Now listen and read doctor's recommendations and compare your ideas. So now let's play a game. It's called the random wheel game. When I spin the wheel, you need to read the statement the arrow points to and say whether it's true or false. Okay then, do you know which sentence you will speculate about? No. Will the arrow show the right sentence for you? Yes. What do you need to do after reading the sentence? Right, you have to say true or false. So let's do it. So let's spin the wheel and the arrow points to don't respect traffic signals. Guys, how do you think? Is it true or false? Of course it's false. You have to respect traffic signals. Let's spin the wheel once again. Play in the main street. How do you think? Is it a good idea? Of course, no, it's false. Okay, the third one. Do not touch insecticides. How do you think? Is it true or false? So our lesson is over. Take care and keep in mind useful tips and suggestions that can help you to save yourself and other people around you. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Dear colleagues, I'm glad to meet you again to have a nice tea conversation. Do you remember I asked you to pay attention to how I integrate language skills in my lesson? Well, let's talk about the stages of the demo lesson and which skills they were focused on. As you may recall, I started my lesson with a warmer. I greeted students and then told them about the situation happened to me on the bus. Then I showed a short video about the first aid. I also asked them to discuss 3 questions about the video. How do you think? What was the purpose of the story and why I showed the video? Exactly. I conducted these activities to raise students' interest in reading. So again, let's remind you that we can't force students to read any text with great interest without preparing them. Show them a short video. Prepare a set of questions to activate their background knowledge. You may have noticed that I let students read the text only once, while usually we ask students to read the text twice. First, reading was for skimming. They read it to check their ideas about the questions they discussed before. So why did we skip the second reading? Well, it depends on the objectives of your lesson. If the teacher wants students to practice reading skills, then she or he can add more exercises to check students' understanding of the text. As for me, I wanted to focus more on the understanding of the topic. I wanted the class to learn more about what the first aid is, when people give it, and how to behave when facing this kind of stressful situations, and etc. Students had a chance to get this knowledge during the first reading. The next 2 tasks aimed at learning and practicing new vocabulary related to the first aid. At the same time, these tasks were authentic and had a connection to real-life problems. If in the first task the students learned new phrases and matched them with the corresponding pictures, in the next tasks they matched the same accidents with the consequences and later discussed why people should be careful in the particular situations. This kind of tasks improve students' critical thinking skills. As for the speaking and listening skills, they always come together. Whenever the teacher asks students to discuss the questions or share their personal or real-life stories, they listen to each other and speak at the same time. As for the pair work between activities, where they are asked to compare their answers or ideas with their classmates, this is also an element of communicative method, where students listen and speak. In the last stage of my lesson, I did a roping up activity. That was a random wheel game or a spinner. Students need to read the statement the arrow points to and say whether it's true or false. This game can show how well students got the idea of the lesson. You can create the same kind of activities with your own questions on the word wall site. Remember, word wall site. So you could observe that in my lesson. I integrated all 4 skills. Indeed, English classes should be similar to real life, where the language skills of reading, listening, speaking, and writing are usually integrated rather than existing separately. Since being exposed to integrated skills lessons, students are likely to become a full language user. I hope that after watching my lesson, you will plan your lessons carefully and help your students fully explore the topic and enhance all language skills. If you have any questions regarding the lesson or methodology, please write to our email or in our website forum Need to Get This Info. Our Lingua Tea Club is always open to our professional talk. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time.